Here's the translated article. Do you dare to venture into a world of mystery and excitement? Come and discover with us the story of Oak Island, the mysterious island that has piqued the curiosity of adventurers and surrounded itself with an enigma that no one has yet understood. In the summer of 1795, a young man named Daniel McGuinness claimed to have seen strange lights in the forest while sitting in his parents' house. When he went to investigate the source of these lights with two of his friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, they stumbled upon a strange circular pit and found no source of light. When they returned to the same pit the next morning, they began digging eagerly in the hope of finding treasure or anything valuable. Their motivation stemmed from the abundance of rumors in that era about famous pirates like Captain Kidd and their hidden treasures on islands. As they dug with their hands and then with digging tools, they reached a depth of 3 meters and encountered a wooden wall. They rejoiced, thinking it was the treasure, only to find mere pieces of carefully cut oak wood fixed together tightly. When they removed the wood, they found another layer of soil underneath and began digging again to another 3 meters, where they found the same oak wood wall. Upon removing the wood, they found only soil again. They removed the wood and dug again, only to be surprised by the same oak wood wall. At that point, they gave up digging and filled the hole back in. After 7 years, they persuaded a wealthy figure from a prominent family to hire a company to dig again in the money pit. In the summer of 1804, the company removed the old fill and began digging where Daniel had stopped. It didn't take long before they encountered the wooden wall again, and 3 meters further, they found another wooden wall. As they progressed, they found remnants of charcoal scattered on the pit walls and many coconut fibers, indicating that these components were used to preserve valuable items over ancient times. This renewed their enthusiasm, and they continued digging. After a long period of digging, they found a large piece of ancient stone with strange inscriptions on it. The decision to halt the digging was made due to the high cost, and some say it stopped because a severe storm destroyed all the digging equipment. However, after stopping the digging, a new puzzle emerged, the puzzle of the stone and its strange writings. At that point, archaeologists of the time translated the writing on the stone and found that it was a message stating, "Below 40 feet, there are 2 million golden coins buried." When the company learned of the message's content, their excitement to excavate renewed, and digging resumed in 1805. This time, when they dug deeper, they found gold coins, and their excitement grew as they neared the treasure. Then they found more gold coins and decided to stop for a break and continue the next day. However, the next day, one worker shouted that the pit was flooded with water. Everyone felt disappointed, but they decided to continue digging by bringing in a steam-powered water pump. However, it wasn't long before one worker died due to the pump's explosion. They then realized that trying to drain the pit was like trying to drain the ocean itself. They quickly became discouraged and decided to stop digging, and the money pit remained flooded for 40 years. In 1845, another company, the Truro Company, decided to form a new team to search for the treasure in this mysterious pit. This time, they came prepared with new and large digging equipment and relatively modern water pumps. However, as soon as they started digging, one worker died due to a mysterious cause unknown to anyone. The digging was postponed until 1849 when they tried to remove the water from the pit for 2 weeks until they succeeded in draining all the water from the pit. They decided to rest and start digging the next day. However, the next day, they found that the pit was filled with water again. Everyone was shocked and desperate, but they insisted on knowing what was at the bottom of the pit. They brought an iron probe and built a wooden platform for it, and began lowering the probe into the pit. When they started drilling at the bottom, they found wooden walls of oak and soil. They continued lowering the probe and pulling it out to see its contents, only to be surprised by another puzzle. They found another type of wood, later identified as the type used in coffins, along with parts of a decomposed body and parts of a gold chain apparently worn by it. Then more problems occurred, and work was postponed until 1851. They decided to use the pump again, but to no avail. They eventually concluded that it was a failed and expensive project. This was followed by many attempts to remove the water and get the treasure over the years 1859 and 1867, with the most notable being in 1889 when a worker was killed due to toxic fumes when they were digging a pit next to the money pit, and in the end, the water flooded the adjacent pit as well. All attempts to remove the water failed. In 1897, they decided to send the probe again, and after a long time, they found part of a message and some pieces of gold coins. Many expeditions and explorations were sent to the island and to the money pit until 1965 when one company obtained rights to search in the pit. When they started pumping water from the pit using powerful and modern pumps, they almost emptied the pit. However, when they sent the probe to a deeper depth than any other probe before, it collided with an iron structure, and they couldn't send any more probes after that. Then another fatal accident occurred when the mission leader, Robert, found his son lying dead in the pit, floating on the water. They didn't know how he was killed or how he got there. After this incident, 2 workers were killed in a mysterious way, and when doctors examined them, they found that they were killed by toxic gases. After that, many exploration missions occurred, and over time, scientists discovered that the water in the pit was due to engineering brilliance, as they built a highly complex engineering structure on the island's coast full of channels directly connected to the sea. When they tried to reach a certain level in the pit, the water automatically rushed into the pit from one of the channels, and no matter how they tried to block these channels, water would appear from other channels at a deeper depth. All exploration operations ceased completely in 1989 due to the government's refusal to issue any new digging permits for fear of the island's archaeological artifacts and its natural beauty. There are some questions that scientists have not yet found a scientific explanation for. First is the stone found with the strange inscriptions. Scientists in our modern times have translated them in more than one way, including "People will not forget the Lord, I, the priest, will pray for everyone." Some lean towards this interpretation because the coffin found in the pit contained artifacts dating back to the earliest Coptic religion in ancient Egypt, and the stone dates back to the days of the ancient Egyptians, the pharaohs. There are also many theories and myths. Some say there is no treasure in the pit, instead, it's the devil's lair, and the priest in the coffin is there to prevent the devil from emerging. Note, it has not been proven that the coffin belongs to a priest or Coptic. These are